Welcome back to another episode of Movie Bracket Challenge. So this is my recap of Alice in Wonderland. So my first warning is this was not epileptic friendly. We did try and do a list that would be. I didn't know much about this movie, and I'm sorry to my epileptic watchers. Don't watch this movie. So my recap on this movie is going to be much shorter. We'll try and put some notes in and some graphics to make this a better video. Thank you to my editor for that.
Hello, this is the editor Marine. I'm going to do the voiceover on a little recap of Alice in Wonderland. Alice is bored listening to her older sister read aloud from a history book. Alice dreams of living in a world of nonsense. Just then, Alice sees a white rabbit wearing a waistcoat and carrying a watch. She and Dinah, her cat, follow him into a rabbit hole, where Alice suddenly falls down into a deep well, leaving Dinah behind. At the bottom, she falls into a large chamber-like hall, but he escapes through a tiny door. The doorknob suggests Alice drink from a bottle marked "Drink Me." The contents shrink her to a tiny fraction of her original size. The door is locked, and the key appears on the table, which she cannot reach. The doorknob directs her to a cookie marked "Eat Me." The cookie makes her grow so large that she hits her head on the ceiling. She begins to cry. Her massive tears flood the room. The doorknob points out that the "Drink Me" bottle still has some fluid left inside, so she finishes the last drop. She becomes so small that she drops inside the bottle. Both she and the bottle drift through the doorknob's keyhole mouth and out to a sea made from Alice's tears. On shore, Dodo Bird leads a group of animals in a race to get dry. Alice meets Tweedledum and Tweedledee, two fat twin brothers who recite "The Walrus and the Carpenter." After sneaking away to White Rabbit's house, Alice is first mistaken by him as a maidservant, then grows to such a large size that she gets stuck inside the house. The Dodo tries to help by first sending Bill the lizard chimney sweep down the chimney, then setting the house on fire, but Alice gets a carrot from the garden and shrinks down 3 inches. Alice chases after the White Rabbit again, and she finds herself in a garden of talking flowers. The flowers at first befriend Alice, and then mistake her for a weed, and angrily drive her out of the flower bed. She can't take root. She engages a hookah-smoking caterpillar who turns into a butterfly, though not before giving her a cryptic advice about the mushrooms she is sitting on. Alice breaks off 2 pieces and nibbles them, alternating between the pieces, first growing large and unintentionally aggravating a nesting mother bird, who accuses Alice of being a serpent, then shrinking very small. Alice receives mysterious directions from a Cheshire Cat, an eerily grinning feline that can disappear and reappear at will. This leads her to the garden of the March Hare, who is celebrating his unbirthday with the Mad Hatter and the Dormouse. Alice, growing tired of their rudeness and wackiness, decides to go home, abandoning her pursuit of the White Rabbit. She is lost and despondent among the strange creatures of the Tugly Wood, until the Cheshire Cat reappears and shows her a shortcut out of the forest and into the garden of the Queen of Hearts.
So this movie in a sum is, I thought about mental health because Alice is trying to figure out herself. She goes down a rabbit hole, she meets all these crazy creatures, and she goes through tea parties, um, which I can't remember, but if there's some lights in it, don't watch the tea party. This is my recap of Atlanta. It is set in 1941. Milo James Thatcher is a bright young man who is employed, sorry everybody, who is employed by a museum. I cannot name this museum, everybody. Sorry about that. Milo has been inspired by his grandfather, who often speaks of the lost city of Atlanta. Milo attempts to convince several of the top people at the museum to fund his expedition, but most of them think he's crazy. Milo meets an eccentric millionaire, Preston B. Whitmore. Preston claims to know Milo's grandfather and presents him with a journal that contains information about how to reach Atlanta. Preston claims that he has a crew ready to go, but wants Milo to lead the expedition. The young man eagerly accepts. After braving several pitfalls and strange creatures, they finally make it to Atlanta, which is like in a bubble under the water. It's preserved, shrunken atmosphere, I guess. However, before they can approach, they're accosted by several of the natives. They're attacked. They're led by the king's daughter, Kita. Milo is soon able to communicate with the natives, and they soon reveal that they know many languages, including English. Kita then leads the group into Atlanta, where she takes them to her father, the king. Kita's father is not all that pleased to meet these strangers and requests that they leave. However, a member of Milo's crew, Rogue, I may be mispronouncing his name, everybody. Please put it in the comments if you know it. Requests to stay one day, and the king grants his request. While Milo wants to know more about Atlanta, Kita is curious about the outside world. Milo shows Kita the journal and also finds that the Atlantis crystals around their necks also function as keys that can be used to animate stones, objects with flight. Kita explains that the civilization has lost the ability to read their own language, but Milo is able to decode the text on the sunken ruins under the sea. Milo and Kita are soon accosted by Rogue. Sorry, again, can't say his name. Who is revealed to have come to Atlanta to find the crystals for monetary value. Basically, he wants money. And the others and Helga are soon found to be in the scheme too. Aw, poor Milo is betrayed by his crew. Rogue and the rest of the team bring the crystals / Kaya above ground, sealing her in a metal box. Though at first the others help Rogue, as Milo reasons with them, soon only Helga accompanies Rogue and the soldiers out of Atlanta. As they leave, the crystal necklaces on Atlantis deem together. Milo and the others quickly bring the containers back to the city. Milo opens up the containers and Kita and the heart of Atlanta ascend. They awaken the giants to create forces fields to prevent lava and destroy the city. The city is saved. Kita is released from the crystals, and into Milo's arms she goes. So that is my recap of Atlanta, and thank you, everybody. Don't forget to vote, 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 vote. Comment section and our community page.